All right, ladies and gentlemen, the last reaction for today. So let's make this a good one, shall we? And let's go ahead and get the formalities out of the way. Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here. I'm done eating my food, and I'm prepared to give you my last manga reaction for today as we check out JUJUTSU Kaisen. Now, to give you a little bit of a recap as to where we are with the story right now, last chapter saw a lot of armed forces make their way into Japan, but they've escaped being... Sorry, I'm just now realizing that I didn't change out my My Hero logo for the Jujutsu logo. Let me do that now so that it doesn't do that. There we go. All right, now we got Jujutsu in here. Hold on, let me enlarge in this. Much better. Yo, how was lunch? It was good. I had Bojangles, had a 4-finger count plate. I haven't had Bojangles in a minute, so it was pretty good. But last we left off in the story of Jujutsu, a lot of armed forces made their way into Japan in order to go in without Japanese citizens with cursed energy and leave with Japanese citizens with cursed energy. So it's not just the military forces, but it's not just the American military forces, but it's other armed forces as well. And some they've been able to detain in order to bring them back to America for experimentation, which is really messed up when you think about it. They're actually being told to go to Japan to grab these people to experiment on them against their will. So it's messed up, but some soldiers are having an easy time with it. Others are having to deal with curse users that actually have some substantial abilities. Like some people are getting royally messed up. The one guy that was facing off against Yuji and company that has a propeller for a head top. Yeah, some of the soldiers ran afoul of him, and one of the soldiers got gutted as a result. And as they're trying to round up as many Japanese people with cursed energy as they can, we see Yuji and Fushiguro have to deal with some armed forces that are trying to just zero in on them and literally take them out. They're not using tranquilizer darts, they're using live rounds. So the question is, how long before these soldiers meet their end? Because they are not taking out Yuji. So, let's begin with chapter 210, Offering to the Unknown, part 2. And we see someone... I can't tell, is this person putting some food in a container? Yeah, this person is putting some food in a container, but it's an incredibly rundown building. And there's some children sitting inside of this rundown building. They look kind of haggard, they got scrapes everywhere, and this... one child is eating from this cup of food, and she's eating until she chomps on something, and she spits it out, and it's a screw that's inside the food. So the place where this food is being taken care of, it's not good, because this face that I was originally looking at, thinking that it was part of a regular person's face, yeah, it's actually a cursed spirit trying to feed these kids, but it's not very good at it. And the narration says they all knew it wasn't their mother. And it shows this cursed spirit constantly peeling its, like squeezing its face back, because it has like a big face. It has a big face, and then there's a face on top of it, and then a face on top of that, and a face on that one and that one, but it gets smaller and smaller, so it's like a segmented face type of deal here, but it's really weird. And then it cuts to Yuji and company, as they've taken down... Yeah, okay, so remember when I said, like, how long is it going to be before these soldiers... get the floor mopped, they get the floor mopped. They get the floor mopped with them, mop the floor with them. Yeah, it wasn't long, because it cuts to Yuji and Fushiguro sitting in front of one hog-tied dude going, I don't know all the details, but I'm just a grunt. But they want to study your cursed energy as an alternative energy source. And then it cuts to Kurusu there with the comedian guy as he's going, that guy's Japanese. He's their guide, the traitor. You sold out your country. You just wanted to say that. Oh wait. You sold out your country. And then Kurusu just goes, you just wanted to say that, now shut up. Then Fushiguro, they must want a way to become energy self-sufficient. Then why didn't Japan do that sooner? Jujutsu HQ controls this country, and it's too proud to take the lead in spreading cursed energy. And then it cuts to the same guy going, noblesse oblige. Everything is about self-responsibility in this country, so it never take hold. With a new energy source as bait, Kenjaku lured non-sorcerer soldiers into the colonies and offered them to cursed spirits. Their deaths will fill each colony with cursed energy and complete the ritual preceding Tengen's merger with the populace. That would take a crazy amount of people. Kenjaku is a double dealer, so he must have contacted a lot of countries. Maybe the culling game with its complicated rules was a smokescreen for this. And then it cuts to Yuji going, "We should help them." The military? But they want to abduct us for experimentation. But if we don't, everyone will end up as one giant meatball with Tengen. Yeah, I still don't get that. And then someone goes, "Don't bother." It's the mouth of Kurusu's, the mouth of the one that's inside of Kurusu going, "Don't bother. In both Tokyo colonies, 50 sorcerers fought and fell. So Tokyo number 1 is already full of cursed energy. Which means there's no point. Even if we save the soldiers, the result will be the same." Yeah? So what? "Hana and I live in symbiosis. If she's in danger, then I'm in danger. So don't drag her into a meaningless fight. We weren't together to begin with, so let us go our own way." And then it cuts to Yuji going, "Don't be bossy. I don't trust you." And then it cuts to Fushiguro looking confused, and then the angel says, "Are you talking to the angel or me? Either way, it's unpleasant." And then it cuts to a soldier, just another soldier, being strung up and held out for these giant piranha fish cursed spirits to chomp on. Like I said before, these cursed spirits, these soldiers were led to slaughter. They were led to slaughter from the very beginning. Kenjaku counted on this. He didn't count on them getting there to take some Japanese people. He counted on them going there and getting killed by actual cursed spirits. So now all these soldiers are being strung up and being used as a means of killing these soldiers in order to build up the cursed energy he needs for his plans with Tengen. And it shows this cursed spirit basically using this soldier on a hook, like a fish line. And one of the cursed spirits grabs onto him and it pulls it up. And in the process, we see a whole bunch of dead soldiers with one who's still alive climbing out of the pile, as it shows these smaller cursed spirits gathering around this fish cursed spirit and then just going crazy trying to eat this other cursed spirit. It's dog eat dog world out there. It's not like cursed spirits are working together in order to take down the humans. Cursed spirits are literally fending for themselves and doing basically whatever. And then the soldier just goes, the one that's still alive, in this pile of human bait, basically human bait, just goes, "I'm a soldier, so I was prepared. I knew terrorists might off me at some point. Or I might step on a landmine in the desert at some point. At some point. But this is different." As it cuts to that same cursed spirit who grabs him and prepares to put a hook straight through his chest. "But this is different. I can't take this." As this cursed spirit opens his mouth, and then all of a sudden, there's this blinding light. There's this blinding light that appears over this cursed spirit and stops him from putting the hook through this person. Dude. And then it cuts to Yuji and Fushiguro. "This isn't like you. You sure about that? Everything else aside, were you referring to the angel and Sukuna?" They all knew it wasn't their mother, but anyone who cried or complained would suddenly disappear, so gradually they all fell silent. Later I learned I had been there about 1 year. I followed a dog with a fluffy white tail. "There's a girl, I think she's older. She's had it rough. Give her to the cops." And then it cuts to this little girl who's standing there right next to this white dog, which looks like one of Fushiguro's white shadow dogs that he usually has with him. Oh, and it's Gojo! It's Gojo with Fushiguro! I remember Fushiguro was being taken care of by Gojo after Gojo defeated Toji Zenin. Toji Fushiguro. And it cuts to the dog getting up and trotting away as a person goes, "You hungry, girl?" And the girl looks up and she sees Fushiguro walking with Satoru Gojo and Fushiguro. "She might fall for you," as Gojo says. And the girl just looks on, and Fushiguro just looks on as Gojo and company just walk away with the dog going with them. And that girl is Hana Kurusu. That girl apparently is Hana Kurusu. Back then. Because that was a flashback. What we saw in the beginning was a flashback of Hana Kurusu's life. Like, she was brought up and raised by a cursed spirit. And she's been having this dog hang out with her this whole time. Then when Fushiguro popped up, the white dog that was with Kurusu went with Gojo and company. And now it cuts back to the present as it shows a young Hana Kurusu and an older one, the way she is right now, seen as the angel. And then it cuts to the soldier that was about to be killed by the cursed spirit. "Jesus, someone finally came." And it cuts to the man holding his hand out like the picture of God and man. The picture where they're all up in the clouds and the one dude is trying to point up towards God. And it shows this man doing the same thing towards Hana. "Fate is all. I believe we would someday meet again, so little by little in hoping of being worthy to stand by your side." Oh, that's her. "Fate is all. I believe we would someday meet again, so little by little in hopes of being worthy to stand by your side. I help people." Wow, so Kurusu has actually been looking forward to the day where she could meet up with Fushiguro again. "I would have expected you to be more considerate to Kurusu. Ever since I rejoined you, I've been afraid of her replacing Kujisaki." "Don't be dumb. I'll apologize later." "Yes, you better." "Don't you have something to say?" "I'm the final panel!" And you... What? You're just breaking how you just gonna break the fourth wall here and right now? Just saying like, "I'm the final panel!" But Kurusu lands directly in front of Fushiguro and Yuji, with the comedian dude just being like, "I'm the final panel." So, this was actually a very light chapter. This was a light chapter. This was a light chapter. Not too much going on here, save for seeing... It was really everyone talking... Because it was pretty much just confirming what we already know. This is just Yuji and company confirming what we already know is happening right now. But also coming to the fact that even despite all the amount of people that they try to save, it's not going to matter because the amount of people who have already died is enough to fulfill what Kenjaku's trying to do right now for the moment. And Fushiguro has already figured out that this is what Kenjaku's plan is. Offer up soldiers to the cursed spirits, with their deaths being used to fill each colony with cursed energy and complete the ritual preceding Tengen's merger with the populace. So that's one thing that's going on. And from what the angel says, in both Tokyo colonies, 50 sorcerers fought and fell, so Tokyo number 1 is already full of cursed energy. So one zone is already filled with the amount of energy that Kenjaku needs. The question is, how many more does he need before he tries to start the merger with Tengen? That's the issue. And Yuji's all like, yeah, it doesn't matter if these soldiers try to kill us, we should still try to save them. And there's a lot of mistrust that's going on between Yuji and Kurusu, and she can't figure out, are you talking to the angel or me? Because Yuji says, "Don't be bossy, I don't trust you." And as that's going on, we see some panels of some cursed spirits doing some fishing with some regular human bodies. And as this is going on, as one soldier is about to be sacrificed, a blinding light appears. We find out that's Kurusu who's doing that. And we get a little bit of a history of Hana Kurusu, where she used to be on her own with after she was gone from the cursed spirit, she used to be on her own with this one little dog. And it was in that moment where Fushiguro showed up with Satoru Gojo, and they just start walking, and the dog goes with them, leaving Hana Kurusu all by herself. But that was more than enough for her to want to help people with one day returning to Fushiguro's side. So that's the reason why she doesn't mind being around Fushiguro, because way back when, Fushiguro Megumi may not remember, because if I keep saying Fushiguro, that's a lot of syllables, but Megumi is easier. Megumi may not remember Hana Kurusu, but she remembers him and wants to be by his side. So that's the reason why she continues to help people. That's the reason why she's called the Angel, because she's helping people in the hopes of being right next to Megumi. But as that's going on, Megumi is all like, I would have expected you to be more considerate. And yet, the reason why Yuji has not been big on trying to be more accepting of Kurusu is simply because he doesn't want to put his mind in the mental space of that Kurusu is here to replace Nobara. He's scared that if Kurusu joins up with them and he starts to get friendly with them, then he's going to start to think that she's a replacement with Kujisaki. And, Megumi is trying to let him know, like, don't be dumb. It's not that. This don't be dumb. Then he says, I'll apologize later. And then Megumi's all like, yeah, you better. And then Kurusu lands in front of him saying, like, don't you have something to say? Which means that she's expecting the apology. And then the comedian dude just takes us out with a fourth wall break of, I'm the final panel! So this was a pretty good chapter. I was not expecting a lot of action to happen. This was actually a pretty chill chapter because I know we spent a lot of time with a lot of action-oriented chapters, but getting chapters where people are talking and we're getting a little bit exposition and a little bit of history is actually quite nice. I'm not the type of person, I can get by either way they take this story. They could have action all the time, or they could have talking all the time. I'd enjoy it either way, but as you know, there tends to be people that think, like, well, enough talking, get back to the action, but we need these types of moments before the action starts up again. Because, sure, we could get exposition while fighting is going on, but we're more focused on the fights. So having these little moments where we get to see everyone just talking to one another, we start to understand characters a lot better before we get knee-deep back into action again. So it's a pretty good chapter. I'm not going to say this got me... I feel like we needed a break from the crazy stuff. Yes, because there was a ton of crazy stuff. I feel like we spent quite a few chapters focusing on Kenjaku versus Yuki Tsukumo and Choso and their plans on how to combat him. We spent a lot of time on them for a while. We spent a lot of time on them. So I'm actually grateful we're getting a break with this chapter from all the constant big action so we can rest our brains before the action starts to pick up once more. And I'm glad that we're not going on break for this as well, so expect another reaction this upcoming Sunday. Like I said, we need these chapters where we take a break from all the action in order for us to calm down, because there's only so much hype that a person can feel consistently chapter after chapter. But you don't want to oversaturate yourself with hype moments, because then too much of a good thing will start to dilute the flavor. Too much of the same thing you'll start to lose the taste to it. Too much action, and you'll start to feel like, well, this action's been going on for a long time already, so a break from action will make it so that our hype for the next action scene is just as fresh after a long period of time. That's just how I see things. But, like I said, I enjoyed this chapter. I really do enjoy chapters that take a break from action so we can sit down and talk, so that things can die down a little bit to prepare us for the next big moment that's about to happen. Since we're not going on break, we can look forward to those. Overall, good chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen. It didn't get me out of my seat as big as One Piece or My Hero Academia, but this was a good, I want to say, quote-unquote, break chapter from all the crazy that we've had to deal with. So we're just going to see where things go here. Every now and then, you need a Logtown arc to calm down. Exactly. This goes out to all the people who think that we should be getting action scenes every single moment of every single chapter, but not everything is going to be action. So yeah, we do in fact need a Logtown arc in order to calm down before we get our Marineford's, before we get our Wanos, before we get our Eggheads, before we get our Sabaody Archipelagos. We need chapters like this before we get the big chapters. And I'm grateful that everyone involved, Gege, is doing a good job writing this story. So yeah. This was a good chapter. I enjoyed it. Now it's time for me to rest and try and level up some more on One Piece Odyssey before I bring this series back tomorrow, before Forspoken comes out on Tuesday. So, it ought to be an interesting day for me. But I'm done doing my reactions for today. Unless something major pops up that you guys need me to look into, then I'll see you guys tomorrow as we continue with One Piece Odyssey. To everyone here, it is always an honor and a privilege to be your entertainer. To everyone here, all I can say at the end of the day is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then like, subscribe, share with everyone you know, because the more the merrier. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, why, my brain left me. And if you're new to, I literally just doubled backed through, I was thinking of something else and my mind just said, repeat what he's saying automatically. I had to catch myself. I had to catch, I had to catch myself right then. Because, and if you're, and maybe even consider becoming a member. There we go, we're back on track. I don't know what happened. There's something inside this sweet tea. There's something in this tea. And maybe even consider becoming a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later peoples. I caught it. I caught myself before someone got me.